Hi everyone, Mohammed here, and welcome to the first section of our Java course. This section can be considered as our entrance to the programming world, and since this course is for absolute beginners, so we will be first introduced to some basic concepts around programming in general, where this introductory section will be in two parts. Part 1, which is this part, is what is programming language. Then part 2 is translating programming language from human readable to computer readable. And for now, let's get started with part 1. What is programming language? In general, a language is a way for communication with others, and we need to communicate with others seeking for help. Think if you need some help from anyone, could you get that help without communication? Of course no. You have to find a way for communication with people, either using human languages or even using sign language. And I think that during your daily life, you will need some help from computers as well, where computers could help us all the day without complaining. Okay, that's great, but how to communicate with computers seeking for help? It is clear that computers do not understand human languages, or even sign language. That's right, the computers only understand some sort of language called programming language. And I know you may say, I could use the calculator program in my computer, and tell the computer to make some calculations without using any language, only using the buttons on the screen. But no, that's not the whole truth. At the end of the day, the buttons and the graphics you are using are just a way to make it simple for you. But behind the scenes, there is a conversation or chatting between the program you are using and the computer. And guess what? This chatting is in programming language. That means clicking some buttons inside a program is like chatting with the computer, telling it to do something, where each button is combined with a specific message. And our role as programmers is to write the message combined with each button, so that when someone uses the program we have made, he just has to click the button rather than write the whole message. But instead of writing that message in a human language, the programmer have to write it in programming language, in order to make the computer understand it, where that process is called programming, while the message to the computer is called instruction, since it instructs the computer to do something. But wait, is programming language it's just a set of zeros and ones as I see? So programming is not cool as I have heard. How can we write instruction or message to the computer using this weird language? But in fact, computers can only understand that weird language, which also called machine code, since it is understandable by machines or computers. But for its complexity and difficulty for a human to read, it is categorized as a low-level programming language. But on the other hand, we have another category of programming languages called high-level programming language, where high-level programming language is another category of programming languages that make the programming process more human-friendly. And there are many types that fall under this category, as C language, C++, Java, Python, and much more, where high-level languages are more human-readable, as they use some words from English. For example, that line is written in a high-level language, where that line is a message or instruction to the computer, telling it to add the two numbers, 2 and 5, and then print the result. And I think even you are not a programmer, you still can guess what this line say, as it has the word print from English language. But take care, high-level programming language is not English. They are derived from English to be more human-readable, and still, computers do not understand high-level language. While although the messages or instructions in high-level language are more human-friendly, but they are not for computers, since computers only understand the low-level language or machine code, which is only a set of zeros and ones. So the question now is, how we could use high-level languages to write programs that computer could understand? The answer is we need a translator. The same when you only speak English and you wanna say hello to a French man, you just need a third-party translator, who will translate the word hello from English into French, so that the Frenchman could understand what we wanna say. And it is the same when we could only write programs in high-level languages, and wanna message or instruct the computer which only understand low-level language. We only need a translator that translates our instructions from high-level language to low-level language. But in the computer world, the translator is called compiler, or maybe called interpreter, depending on how the language will be translated, and we will discuss that in the next lecture. So when you write your program instructions in high-level language, which also called source code, and wanna convert it in a language that computer understand, which is the low-level language, you will need compiler or interpreter that will translate high-level language instructions to the low-level language instructions that computers could understand. But now the question is, what is the difference between compiler and interpreter, and when to use a compiler and when to use an interpreter for translation to low-level language? But let's answer the question in the next video.